Hello, my name is Justin Smith. This is my counselor right here. I'm going to ask him some questions about the significance of HBCUs. What is your name?
Eduardo Garces.
All right, hello, Eduardo Garces. Uh, where are you from?
I'm from Houston, Texas, Missouri City, if you want to be exact.
Okay. What made you choose Texas Southern University?
It was accessible. I did get my master's here. Um, while working on my master's, and actually, obviously, I work here as well. I did connect with Dr. Kabir, who is a professor in the program I'm in, which is education administration and foundations in higher ed. So I came across some of the research that she was doing, which was looking at prescriptive perspectives and opinions of Hispanic students, Latino students attending HBCUs. Kind of what you just asked me: why do students pick? Why do Hispanic students pick HBCUs? So I connected with her. At that time, I was a recruiter, so I, I showed interest and try to see how I was able to help her and gain more knowledge. So,
Okay. Where did you obtain your bachelor's degree?
at the University of Houston.
Coming from a University of Houston, institutions such as University of Houston, and going to an HBCU, what are significant changes and what stands out for you at TSU? And what can you say are the advantages as well?
There definitely are a lot of differences. Here, there's a more home feel. Everybody's much more approachable compared to what I experienced there. It on the negative side, there's a lack of school pride. While attending U of H, it was all over the place. Everybody had U of H shirts, and you rarely caught somebody wearing a non U of H shirt if they were representing another institution. Whereas here, I mean, you have people wearing Howard shirts, Prairie View shirts, you know, schools in California and so forth. But more direct into the opportunities that are here. Um, there's so much more potential here. You're able to actually approach professors, find out what they're doing, seeing if you can help. As I mentioned with Dr. Mutkabir, and start gaining experience that way. That was a big plus. It's affordable for the money I spent over there. It could have went further here, just all around. The quality of education, I think, is the same. The professors that I came across here through the sociology program and the ones that I'm coming across through the education program, their quality. We have professors that played major roles in education, derived from top universities that everybody wants to be a part of. So we have quality professors. I think students underutilized, but nonetheless, the potential is there because they're approachable, and if you're serious, they're going to help you. Not, I'm speaking from experience. I mean, I've been able to do some research and collaborate with different professors and gain experience that way.
Okay. All right. So how do you look past the power structures that are held at HBCUs? Obviously, we're not as funded as institutions such as U of H. Even we're both public institutions. As a counselor, it must be frustrating. You can't get access to the same things as the same counselor at U of H. How do you look past those
So,
obstacles?
so the potential is still here. I have faith that things will get better. It's a summation of quite a few different things that have to be tackled, right? One is it's going to be how students give back, how the culture and climate of the university changes. That's a big part of the issue that we're facing. Uh, Once you have people have more pride, value where they came from, I think you're going to see more people give back. So that helps with funding. You're going to have people promote word of mouth about the university. So that's a big benefit because from stuff that I've read, from interviewing students, the people choose HBCUs. People choose Texas Southern um, based on other people's experience and what they have to say. Because again, we have a stereotype that is continuously promoted. I don't know. We have this stereotype that needs to be overcome, and I think the best way to do that is going to be through um, students that graduate from here, students that are currently here, pr- speaking well of the university, really promoting all the stuff that they're learning here and what they're doing.
A lot of people don't know that many facts about HBCUs, and a lot of people might feel like because they're not a black student, they shouldn't attend HBCUs and they might not get the same experience. Being a Hispanic American, what can you say to those other Hispanics that are thinking about attending a HBCU, or those negative stigma that HBCUs might have? What can you tell other students, such as that are minorities or other white students as well, particularly Hispanic students?
So that's a big myth, that HBCUs are only for black students or African American students, right? The reality is HBCUs are very diverse, some more so than others, but if you look at Texas Southern, if you look at Prairie View, if you look at schools all over the place that are HBCUs, you have Hispanic students. I mean, right now there's a trend that you can see of Hispanic students attending HBCUs versus predominantly white school or even a Hispanic serving institution. That's actually happening. What contributes to that is the push for diversity at HBCUs. So you have the administration that's also pushing to diversify their student population. But even before they started really pushing towards more diversity, you could still see that there were more Hispanic students, more South Asian students, international students that attend HBCUs for various reasons. I mean, especially a school like TSU, where you look at the place, Houston. It's a great place to be. You look at price, affordability. I mean, it's definitely there. You can look at how accessible it is. I mean, people can get into HBCUs. So there's a lot of different factors that do assist with why an HBCU would be good for them. Now, if I was talking to a Hispanic student, they did question, oh, well, why should I go there? Again, there is diversity on campus. I mean, you have two Hispanic fraternities, two Hispanic sororities. You have student organizations that represent the Hispanic culture. So with that said, there's different ways to be involved. When you look at the faculty we have a diverse faculty as well. And I mean, you start thinking about what things that really matter, right? Can you afford it? For the most part, you should be able to afford it, especially if you're a low-income student, because you have grants, and just getting 2 grants helps you pretty much pay for all of your tuition and fees. You might need a little help with books, but it goes a long way here.
So, looking at other HBCUs such as Tuskegee or Howard or even FAMU, how TSU has kind of like more of like a negative scene to it as a HBCU, or not as good. How do you think TSU can prosper in the future so they can compete with other prestigious, even universities, not only HBCUs?
Better media representation is going to be key, because again, people don't realize all the things that are going on at Texas Southern. People do the work, and it's not bragged about. We commonly get the negative, all the negative things that go on. That's what gets shown. Whether it's on Twitter or on the news, we get that because that's juicy, right? That's what people want to know about. Nobody wants to know that such and such professor got this grant, which is going to solve this very important problem, right? They don't realize all the alumni that we have that are prosperous, that are actually contributors in their communities, and they know it exists, right? But it's not highlighted as much as it should, because we have professors that have great pedagogy, that are active in their community, that turn around and help students, whether it's find a job or get them experience so that they continue to thrive in their career. Stuff like that is just it's not told, and I think that's what needs to change to really see TSU in a different light.
Okay. All right. So last question. Seeing TSU and other universities, as a counselor, being here and helping other students, what can you tell these younger students in order for them to prosper and be at their full potential, being an advisor as well?
So TSU has, again, we'll go back to potential and opportunities. Services are definitely underutilized. We can start off with basic tutoring. I mean, we took a survey of students that actually have gone to tutoring or try to get assistance from their professors. I think you're not going to have a good amount of students that actually utilize those services. I think if you ask students, where's the Career Service Center, they're not going to know. So what I would say is be familiar with your campus. There's nothing stopping you. The services are there. People are there to help. Whether they can be more friendly or not, nonetheless, they're there to help. That's their job, and you can hold people accountable. And sometimes you want to, because again, you have services that aren't being used. So that's one thing. The second thing is be serious about your studies. So sometimes you want to be a little relaxed, but if you do the work now, you don't have to do it later. And so that does mean studying, because whether you study now, if you don't, you're going to study later, and it's best just do it right the first time. And I say that in the sense that be proactive and do your best all the way through. Don't just do the minimum just so it could be done and turn in the minimum, because again that's not a good representation of who you are. So sometimes you do have to look in the mirror and be like, all right, am I giving my best, or I'm just doing what I got to do so I can move forward? Do your best, because again, that's who you want to be. And if you develop that habit of always doing your best, you're going to continue to do that, and it's going to show down the line. You don't see it, but you'll notice it once you get further along.
All right. Thank you so much for this interview, Mr. Garces Arguador. You're a really big help notifying the significance of HBCUs and being a Hispanic American. It was a really good insight.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. When we look at the significance of the HBCUs, I mean, you always think about the opportunities that they provide. We do have a lot of students that are that test into remedial classes, but actually end up being successful. When you look at statistics on how if a student takes one remedial class, how likely they are to actually finish the degree. If they take two remedial classes, how likely they are to finish that degree, especially when we're talking about minority students. And then you look at HBCUs, guess what? We're graduating those students. Now, is it in 4 years? More than likely not. But the reality is, we don't have students that have that luxury, I guess you can say, to finish in 4 years. We have students that have families or are helping their families. They can't just go to school and that's it. There's more to it. So, not saying that other schools don't, but the majority of our students have something going on that's going to prevent them from finishing 4 years. And that's fine, because when you start looking at 6-year graduation rates, or even 9 years, you start seeing that students actually still get out. The goal is 4 years, right? The goal is 6 years, but in our reality, it's a little further along, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, they are still getting their degrees, and they're pressing on forward.
Okay, thank you so much for this interview.
No problem.